Okay, and now this is some more of the little bit of information about our reporting from what I've been investigating on and looking into for a couple years now. Um, in 2020, I found out and I started looking into the computers and I started finding out how Kevin Johnson was connected to us. And he was making phone calls through my cousins and through other people, and they're like, "Hey, you better hear this," and like, things got like strange. He was upset that Tobe was at the house, and he ended up beating a guy up in there. They said or something. I don't know, but I asked for all those and for all those videos, because then he started laughing around at Byron because Byron was the only one that helped get him out or run him off. Him, Shyla. So his wife Shyla, and so after they ran him off, like friggin' Byron went to jail, and he actually took a truck and what it was an RV that he got charged for. And what we try to tell those guys is that and his name was Pat Fleece. He actually got ran off from our games up there, our t-ball games and baseball games because my basketball crew was running Indian tacos, and he was actually out there at the river the day before that trying to hit on all our kids, like all our girls, and his daughter was one of them, and Jade was one of them. Anyway, word got back, and so we ended up running him off, and from there, and then those guys stole his stuff or his ride, but they're trying to get him out of town, like it's not the first time that we had to run somebody out of Covelo. If you ask Levi and who else was there? Let's see, all the bear dancers there that time, like Anthony and like everyone, because there was another guy out there. Hovon Casey helped with that. He ran that guy out of town too. He didn't go to jail, but Barton had it different because no one would listen. Like look how many times we all called. Like the cops laughed, we all reported it. And he's still riding around because he's like, why? Like, because he has a good story or he's rich or, he put hella money into Jesus thing missing. Like, come on now. Like, it's kind of like strange, And so I started looking into all that too. And that's where I tied in with Coon because I was like, hey, something's going on, if he's talking shit with B and all this stuff. And it all come down to like the biggest case in the whole wide world, like Boy Scouts of America, where they were all charged with child molestation and they got put into a little black box. Dude, it made the newspapers across the United States. And that's why Coon and those guys are sitting in that freaking black box, like I was tying a couple people out. And I was like, holy shit, is that why he's the only guy out of the case that the district attorney, the one that retired, they're all retired now. And I told him when I get a good lawyer, you guys are going to be, you're still sued even though you're retired. They're like, oh, the company, but you guys all had this plan, like, um, the district attorney made a live feed on the news saying that she put the most COVID people away in Humboldt County for 25 to life, but not Kevin Johnson, the one that raped my daughter, you know? And then when my other daughter speaks, she will get a lawsuit too, because he did the same to her. And when she gets with me, she'll speak, because that's another charge, And he's up in Humboldt County right now. He's driving the police cars, dude. Like, and they're holding my children against me, like, get us together and let us speak, man. Why wouldn't you let us? It's because some of the town knew before we knew, or what went on. I want it all investigated because I know there were some people that was, that knew too. Not only included, I wanted my parents and everybody investigated because they held me out of the case, but I have every right. I'm the parent, and they said, "Who is my daughter?" And I'm like, okay, like you made the biggest lawsuit, but not the one that's in with the Boy Scouts of America. Like he was clear across the line. Like, dude, like Larry Peltier would be out fighting with me saying, "Save the kids," like I messaged AIM like a long time ago, and I messaged a couple other people, and Jessica and them were all like, "Oh yeah, we're like who else? Nikki Hawkins messaged them, and she kept calling and saying that, oh, we got a case together, because if one head lady that wanted to message him, and her name was, they said Edwina did, when Kitty died. Well, why didn't they all come? They should have came. But I handed a letter out before Kenny passed away about Boy Scouts of America, and all AIM came up with for Uncle Bleedy's funeral. Because my ancestors were Aimsters. We're Aimsters. We weren't AIM. AIM got in trouble. Like the young guys was like Aimsters. The elders. I'm the baby of the baby. And I come to find out some of the same people that down in Hollywood, making their movies and stuff. The old people did. You guys got my badge taken away as a little girl, and like all our Grammys are all retired and most of them passed away, and you guys are down there making money while Leonard Peltier is over there sitting in jail, and you guys were all contacted when Uncle Bleedy passed away. That's my Uncle Bleedy. I didn't make it to the funeral, but my dad did hand a piece of paper to the Boy Scouts of America. Did he hand it to the wrong one? Because I know you guys got all in trouble for making your movies down there with Ishi. Remember, you guys got in trouble that you like used like my grandpa stuff. You use us down there for your guys' videos. So I put it in there, and then you try to put the other kids in there. you know? And it's like, dude, there's always a bigger picture. And I kept thinking, man, all you guys are all just getting in trouble. Thank God for Sam Urbano. He had me message people 2 years ago too, because he remembered about the California raisins, and how they're associated with the farmers thing, the first cartoons and stuff. We're under there somewhere, registered with them, all the way to Washington, D.C. with Leonard Dudley Whipple Sr. Where he had me dance on the, what you call it thing, the, what's that called? Let's see, where was we at over there? Oh, on the Pentagon. That was the year he cut his top off and we powwowed across the state, up to Washington, D.C. Who was up there? All these same ones that got me in trouble and now, we danced across the powwow thing, almost around maybe when grand opening, maybe that might have been different. But anyway, told you guys up in Washington, totem pole's going to tell a story sooner or later, like, dude, we told all you guys who was white, like, not me, even though you guys called me white. And where did we go? We went flying over to the Tequila Rose Bar where my dad was partying, and he don't remember, but he will, because that's where the other triangle hat people went, and like they all had this little confrontation too. Like, anyway, right above there is where I think Libby and them stayed first. I don't know, because Uncle Jimmy, Jordan, and all them hung out there. My brother's all, he died when he was 4, and I was like, no, he didn't, bro. Like, come on now. Something's going on in Covelo, I know Uncle Jimmy. And I was searching out, and I told these guys they're all growling around about cattle and land in Covelo, and they're not growling around about our missing kids for almost a year and a half. So wait till I get a hold of my aunt Lola Brown. The cattle, her family owned the cattle association over in Glenn County. So did Uncle Jimmy and his family too, because I've been calling for Uncle Jimmy's son, Jordan, or his son's over there, and his brother and stuff, because I need his help. I need their help to look at the paperwork, and they got all mad at me about the wills, and I was like, Uncle Jimmy gave it to me, like, dude, I even know where it's all buried at and stuff, and if those guys took it, the rest of it, then they're gonna be in trouble. And if I can get my boxes out of the thing, my keys are in there, and I have to have 2 keys, and I'm like trying to get a hold of you guys over that way. No one will give you guys my information. But I told Covelo, that's all you're worried about. And half that land up there you got the cattle on, it already belongs to me. So then they held my kids another 6, 7 months, so they're all picking on me. I'm like, this time there's too many. They all hopped on the bandwagon and picked on me. And some of the stuff's like serious, and I'm like, dude, there's people out there that actually care, and they want help, and I was like, you guys need to quit looking down on me and my family. My grandma Verna, Crabtree, Simmons, Freeman, we stayed over in the valley. We lived a different life over in the valley. That's why I said we lived the best of both worlds over in the valley, and like, even my grandpa Willard, he used to own the rock quarry right there. And then anyway, that family business, I ain't gonna get into all that. But anyway, yeah, okay, the other one sold it from the other one because he's, like, anyway, I won't get on that. Yeah. Okay, so I rode with my uncle, my grandpa Willard in '93. He had his green truck. He drank a little bit, but it was okay because I got to drive. We went around and we got to set up the reservations from Calusa all the way up to Wairika. And dude, because I always got kicked out as a kid, so I'd have to hang out with different people. And I called Auburn today and I was like, hey, Auburn, you better get on this, the Auburn reservation. I said, I've been Googling and looking up stuff. And I said, they have your reservation down up there in Covelo, like that's where your tribe is when you look at it. I started really Googling it and clicking on things. And I was like, no shit, it takes me back to Auburn. Like, what's going on here? So then I met another guy saying that Auburn actually, if you check into the documents and stuff, and I know people who got articles and stuff, dude, they bought half of Willet, so like they were supposed to be getting a whole bunch of money and stuff. And I think we growled about it. Might have came with the funnel cakes, or wait a minute, hold on. Anyway, okay, and then he says that the Freemans have pardons, and he has the article for that because it has to tie down with my family being part of the Freemasons, And I was like, okay, can someone get a hold of the Whitakers because Ray Whitaker? I looked on the old paperwork and he's on there. I was like, dude, if my family's on there and he knows that, we have our own court system and we have our own like places to get us housing and make sure that we're okay, and maybe we can just, and they probably have kids that want to, they care too, so they can take us out of that system. And I asked Court Peterson and I asked people from CPS, and the judges said, get a hold of my family, even my lawyers, and they're like, oh wait a minute, that's not true. And I'm like, did you guys even know Ray Whitaker, And I was like, go check out all the churches, the Chapman Church and the Crossroads Church. I've been in there for 6-7 months, putting on there like what I need help with and what's going on, because it was like, dude, I'm gonna ask people who care, and that Chapman Church, they send all their kids over to like when you do like the building and stuff, by East and stuff. Like I was like, cool, that's how they roll, they actually care, so maybe they'll help care now. So once I get all the donation letters that I want to get wrote up and I can pass them out. But I need my business letter too, or my business certificate. I put the first store up, or the first Indian store up in Round Valley by myself. Rodney Betts, he ended up passing away of AIDS, and he talked to his brother and told him, just as smart, like everyone picked on her family, when they were younger, and even her own parents, like, there's like, she's hecka smart, so there was, the tribe gave me 3 months to put it together, and then there's like, boom, dude, we want her to fail, so they gave me a month and a half to have that shit done in like 2.5 weeks or something like that. I pulled 2 48-hour shift to have it open on Indian days. Proved them wrong. Even beat my Uncle Harold's time on the Covelo Road. Like, and Steve McLean had it timed, him and Steve and his son Justin and Shy and them. I was in my little car, dude, like 30 minutes, dude, or something like that. And I beat Uncle Harold's time. He was in his some kind of gray ride that he took me over to see one of the Ivan or something. Ivan Freeman. Anyway, he told me the story about them. He's like supposed to be the head of the family, but don't get involved in business either. And no one really likes him. And then when Uncle Harold was going to be gone, then Ivan, who could be your dad, could not be your dad, because that's how everybody's going in Covelo. And I'm like, anyway, well, I could draw a map, but he said that one day Uncle Harold, he would be gone, and Ivan would have to step in, maybe, or how I forget how the story went. And like growl at everybody because he didn't get into shit either, like, and he loves kids too, and he knows that like if Uncle Harold is smart, then this kid is smart too. Because I even found out Uncle Harold was like all enrolled into the Auburn reservation and did all that stuff with this, but then he got mad and he goes, you know what money would do, and he didn't even tell anybody. And then I clicked in my brain because I was like got a little amnesia and I'm getting it back, I was like, oh, I knew where to look on the computer thing, where to find out how Uncle Harold was registered because Grandpa helped, He's all mad. He posted on Facebook. I'm like, hey, it says, like Eileen Freeman, Job Thompson, Melanie Freeman are all registered voters of Pascagoula. That means you're part of their tribe, and somewhere in between our roll numbers got mixed up because we got people sitting on our roll like Bill, dude, he ain't even supposed to be on over there. And I start laughing around because I know everybody's business because their grandmas are my grandmas, like, okay, Aunt Deb left the roll like in when at the same time Chunky left the roll, and then like she couldn't get on Calypso because she didn't have enough quantum, so only Uncle Howard was on over there because that's where part of his whipples were from, like over in the valley. And then she took all the kids off, but the only one to stay on here was Toby because he didn't want to go on over there, and the Whack got on because he had enough quantum, but Bill didn't because he had to go up to like I think where the big old baskets is, up north, the other tribe that we helped set up. And then I was like, how did he get on council? I was just sitting over here in the res, like. And they're all looking at him like, he's all first time in like 2 years. He's like, I got my, take out my report. And I sit around looking. So I look all these guys sitting in here all proud, and I was like, dude, I hella agree with you guys, heck, cap on, like, and his report matched his Indian shirt. It was like light gray, and it was like, maybe he had a printer, a printer thing, I was thinking, holy crap. It'll be the same year that Chunky Gonzalez got off too, because he couldn't get on either, like over there. But once you relinquish yourself, by law, you cannot get back on, like I keep telling him, like, I ain't gonna relinquish myself, because then, like, I know the bylaws, so I'm trying to get my birth certificate for hell years, like, because my asshole, like, my dad and him got all drunk, and there's all fighting down there, him, Odie, and, Uncle Leonard and Uncle Dave down in Red Valley or whatever. They missed my birth, so they got in trouble, and then Aunt Ethel felt bad, so she typed my dad's name on my little feet, and then they freaking put me into the tribe, and I cried all around about being Indian because I had to go to all the white doctors because all the kids were teasing me. I was like, dude, I've been in here enrolled illegally. I could be over in Auburn getting like $55,000 a month, like, and buy my own lawyers, because those guys care about kids too, And I asked them in our policy and procedures just from our tribe, with their NCAA or whatever that they went around training from Oregon, some kind of thing. Anyway, I told them, I said, it says, and in our court papers I found in that they print out at the courthouse, and it's just because everyone got lazy. So they have to notify every single tribe that I'm associated with. And I was like, dude, I set up all these tribes. I said, did you notify them? And they're like, what? Like, stop eating and stop getting off the phone, stop pumping pussy and pumping, whatever, here they pump, like warrior pump. I already preached about it in church, and I was really nice about it. And I was like, yeah, power. And one lady, she even goes, thank you, Jesus. She's all, I was like, thank God, people know about all these different cultures, like there ain't just natives out there, and it's like, hello, we're all registered and stuff. But anyway, so I forgot what my point was for that. Oh yeah, I was just reporting shit. Now, if my kids were here, they'd be like, yeah, that's where he was at. You told the story 100 times. With being registered and stuff. Something. I did forget. Anyway, if you guys check out some of my Facebook stuff, I'm under Trista Freeman like a couple times. One will be with like a little, let's see, I don't know, like a little prune or something, and they'll have the California raisins, because that's what I was trained on when I was a kid. And then, oh yeah, don't forget to look at my other one too. And I forgive me about all the kind of panic posts and somebody's like, what do you call it? Because I had people picking on me too, so I had that proof too, because it's like, what do you call it? Anyway, thank God my grandpa was like Willard Charles Freeman and saved us from Hitler, and he trained us to be like, on notice about things like that. Thank God for Barbara Wilson, Edna McLean, or Joella McLean, like trained us on all that, And then I can't believe these guys at the district attorney's all like, yeah, we know you guys, you grew up laughing all around. And I was like, what? Is it a football vendetta again? Like, don't you want to fight? Or you guys are going to be like Mark and all those guys from the school, they're all mad fighting with us, like, yeah, we don't care from Humboldt, or we ran this school, we ran that school, and then fighting over the Crusaders. They were hella mean to me and my dad and all everybody, because we were like, yeah, the Crusaders this, Crusaders that, and that's how it became the vendetta, like how Mark and all them start picking on us at the school. I'm like, Mark, dude, like, what they didn't put this all in the thing. I will do. All you do is coach basketball and watch basketball all day long. And I went in there and I said, you know what? If I catch my kid and you're doing your job like my other kid did your job, I said, and all you do is sit here and watch basketball. The only one who actually did things was like Vanilla Ice and Black Mold. They're the ones that trained those kids, and it was actually the kids that had the talent. They're the ones who were just there to like be happy for them. So, don't make me come in here and buy a plastic tape and glue it on your ball and you could bounce on it. And all kind of shit went wrong then too. And I was like, shit, well, you guys from up that way, did you guys pick on us too? And I was like, just being honest. One lady came out and cried, and I said, you know what, Cass is, I was like, your grandma made me drink rotten milk. Rotten milk, like, dude, and she started crying, and I was like, just because she didn't listen to me, and it'll be the same story all the time. Just like Bobby Anderson. Milo kept saying, I gotta puke, I gotta puke. And then she slammed on the brakes and peaches went flying all over. So we start throwing sunflakes, flower seeds, and we got kicked out of the bus. Anyway, thank God Patty started driving. She had the same birthday as me. Anyway, they went working with Lydia and what do you call it? Mr. Bigman. They just growl at me too, like breathe. And I'm like, I'm trying, but they can't, like. So we had to get to where I just had my little headphones on. I'd be like, oh yeah, I would listen to all the story, like. And what about this story how the Willits place got shut down? Because that Freemason place, that all ties down to that's ours because they did something with Sonny Barger and they made him mad, and so he took off and so yeah, fuck everybody, I'm out, like we all split and went their thing. Dude, they were supposed to give me that building and they're all trying to sell it, and I'm walking around and the guys are like, hey, like that's your building. I'm like, yeah, wait till I find out all that information. I try to tell all those guys, like, because OD always said, you want to hang out with the mom and pa's in the back house, like back in the shed. That's where the cool guys hang out, the low guys, the ones that make the decisions, but no one else knows. And Cassie, freaking, she knew the story too because I was visiting her. So Cassie, and her name's Cassie still, and they're messing with her too a little bit. Anyway, but she still has her house. But I was like, who owned this place before? I was like, can I ask you? And I told her the story, and she was, no way, child, that she's the Hells Angels guys did stay here at like the grandma and grandpa's. I was like, because I used to hang out here all the time, and I was talking, I was like, dude, what did you guys all do? Like something happened, we had a fallout, and then freaking Sunny passed away, and I was freaking hell bad because like Odie's gone, and I was like, where's all the old crew at, like. And I talked like this because that's all who I hung out with, like all the old timers and stuff, like the old timers. And I believe one of his sons were on like our Sundance or something because they were best friends with my dad and all them. But I was like, just wait till we get all the paperwork on that, like he kept telling me to go to the ice cream shop, or like not them, like I kept remembering like when I was little, like thinking, okay, where did I go, like the ice cream shop, and I was like, okay, hit all my dad's women's up, and my mom's all friends, because they were all running around a long time ago. Anyway, I was like, never made it to the ice cream shop in Willits, but that's where I was supposed to go because they had some cool people there, and then I was like checking out all the wood place, and I was like, oh look, there's the eye, like it's supposed to be like come from China, it's all peace and everything. I was all go for Willits, like keep buying barricades and stuff, and anyway, because we used to sit on that, um, I don't know, the a True Value thing, that little yellow truck. Do they even pull that away? I was like, don't do that. Remember you did that one year, you guys like gave up. I was like, don't give up and start selling out, like fight for the town, like the freeway's gonna fall, like it's all cracked like that if you go look. And it's like, how many earthquakes? And I keep telling them, I went to the board thing down here in Ukiah. And I'm like, so now they's growling with me about that. And I'm like, dude, I've been coming to you for almost a year now. Like, and then I went and reported to people in Kovala, and because it has all the Indian stuff. And it's like, dude, go check it out. My dad and them built bridges. It's cracked in places, and there's earthquakes coming. That's just gonna fall down, and that'll bring a little bit of business back into Willits. You guys get your stuff booming again. Like open up stuff because it take them a while, to rebuild that. And they didn't even ask permission to build that because I was telling my Aunt Kathy Sanchez, Oliver Freeman, and her mom, you'll never know her real mom's on her birth certificate because it's a nickname. Just like my grandma Goldie's, like when the dispatcher down here at the friggin' the dispatcher here was fighting with me all day, and he's like, or like for months, he's like, he must have grew up with us because he's about my age. And I thought, you motherfucker, like you're picking on me and my grandma again. Like all you guys, when you want to sit in here. And I was like, you probably told us when we was little to your mom and everything. And he's like, he's 911 dispatcher in Ukiah. He's like, you know what? Your grandma ain't shit. And I was like, you know what? Don't say my grandma ain't shit. My grandma's the shit, man. We weren't narcs to narc. We didn't have narcs on narking on family or doing this, like, because we were cool, business wise, all legal and everything. And who'd we narc on? We narked on the cops. We're the cop dope, like the pink dope, and everybody didn't tell them the cop dope, And they had the ringing of the wives, Hello, it made the papers, We all told on them then for that, and they picked on us for that, And they have the red phone over there at the jailhouse. They finally cleaned it. I got my phone to go take a picture, and I'm like, dude, you guys have that up there for how many years? Like, you didn't forgot to clean it, you know? I'm like, there was a red phone here, and that lady goes, and I was like, look, you forgot to clean it. And tell, like, the other guy too, you know? There's cameras out, you know? Like, and she's all, what was that guy's name? And so I got his name, and she sent me over there, and I'm still waiting for the paperwork. Because how dare that guy say that my grandma ain't shit? And then you know what? Then they held me in the jailhouse at the thing there at Mendocino County, and I made a report to the. I actually went live for lead, and it was supposed to go over to one of the colleges over in Sacramento to get studied. And I got picked to do the legislative, you know. And I've been volunteering for lead for like I don't know, like a year and a half now. So when I talked to the governor that I actually been messaging to, governor down there, because you can't just run a half a county, you know. And I'm registered with the Farmers Association. You're supposed to help. But good thing that I'm all registered, and my auntie said I'm all tied to being a deputized, you know. And working with that program up here, I have found out that there's 160 kids, maybe or so, missing. And then you know what? CPS and the police station, if I went live too, there on Facebook, dude, they took the missing kids, and you know, because they were mad at me fighting with me because of family ties, you know, and old school stuff, dude, they tried to, what do you call it, the paperwork. 160 kids. It's like, you know, not only did Jessica Guerrero and them do that, you know, the sheriff's office, the CPS here, Court Peterson's like, oh, all red. And I'm like, dude, I dropped it off here. I went live, you know, and they're like, I don't know where it's at. I'm like, dude, those are missing kids, and they come from Covelo, and they're all Indian, and you don't care. And I have heck of witnesses like Jeanette Sturgis and the Wilburn. There's what do you call it? Anthony Wilburn's aunt and all them, and Jimmy Sturgis and all them, and Kayla and all them. I called all the way up, and Kelly and all them, you know, and Sid and all that crew, you know, Spider Man and that crew. They watched me call every single state when I to look for our kids, like the process of doing it, because they read all this stuff too, and they seen it all, and they're my witnesses too. Anyway, I called up to Alaska, and dude, I cried. I mean, I cried. I was like, dude, I asked that lady, I go, do you watch the Yukon? You live up there, you know, do you see where our native people stay? How can you lose that many children? And she couldn't answer me. I started crying. I was all bawling all around. It's like, dude, you really care, huh? And I said, yeah. I said, dude, it's serious, man. Like, I sit around and watch the stuff on TV, you know, like, and it took Covelo and them like 9-10 months to actually figure out how they're going to get around all this with everybody else. And it's like, you guys are going around, and thank God for Rachel and all my family here. There's Rachel, Soph, and Freddie, and like my one family I met, they had owned the, let's see, where you put the redwood tree right there. They all ties in with that, you know, and then who else? Oh, the guy that he does piano. He's actually cool too. And then Myron, who's out there somewhere. Hopefully, you're out there. He gave me the taser, you know, to remind me that, you know, that it's a bigger story of what's going on. You know, like the fancy dance, and Rachel sent that to me, and it was the only thing of our ICWA, you know, our ICWA stuff going out. You know, like I told him we'd be standing on the White Steps, you know, and on the White House, you know. You got all these people, and I called all documented too, like all date and time, and all the way to Washington D.C. You know where our ICWA lady was over there, where our kids were missing and getting adopted out. You know where they was? You know where she was? In the Hamptons. Maybe she was meeting who? Our federal judge who retired from Hoopa and Covelo. You know, like, and where are you building a house out up in Washington? You guys were in the Hamptons the same time my kids were getting adopted out, and with the policy and procedures that we have, you're supposed to notify and get. And Jim Russ, our federal equal agent for how many years, you're supposed to take our little books with our pictures and all our kids, because they ain't 1863, you ain't selling our children no more and losing them. You know, you take our pictures, and we're all dated and stamped, you know, like freaking hello, we matter, our lives matter. You know, and for the tribal administrators that only know me as a dead tree, I have 4 turtles. Check this out. You know, 4 turtles, all with the tree of life on it. And that's for my kids, because my saying was, you know, like, we come from a seed. My ancestors come from a seed, you know, like, that's who we are. We're the root. Can't kill us, can't know us by something dead, because we have our kids to, you know, it's a generation, just like the fish, you know, it's around and around. You know, like I was telling those guys, everybody's all growling around about the fish dams up there, right? You know, like, oh, let's blame Klamath, let's blame this. Dude, in Covelo, I went there for 2 years and pulled out the fish dam. And I'm like, hello, you guys are up here doing a $4 million grant, bringing all these people from BIA and here and there. And it's like, hello, do you know how to gig? He's like, yeah. And I was like, what are you? Are you Indian? He's like, no. I'm like, don't you know it's illegal? You know, I was thinking it's illegal to be out on our land gigging, you know, even though you're married, you know, or with somebody else. You can't be out there, you know, it's illegal. You know, I go, did you ever think about buying the elders some, you know, some stuff or going out there and pulling the dams? So was he out there for those 2 years, you know, like fishing and left the dam in there? Did you know what that does to our water? That does all kind of stuff to our water. And a long time ago, we was taught when we fish, you know, you take the eggs, you know, and you put it underneath the grass, and you tell the person that you gig next to, you know, like, this is where I put him. So you take the sperm, you know. And I was telling those guys, dude, I knew all that until I started talking, got kicked out of the dam because you have to be quiet there. You know, and I was like, you know, when the fish hatch, you know, the little tiny fishes, you know, they go all the way back to the ocean, you know, like in a big old circle. And then they swim all around and they mate all around because they have the big old seed of swimming because there's all kind of choices out there, you know. And then they come back to the land, you know, just like the Indians, how they're supposed to come back, you know, go back for education or bigger stuff, and then come back and like, you know, make progress for our land. But anyway, the little tiny fish, they swim back to where they hatch, and it's like a big old circle, you know. And I tried to explain this to a couple people up there, like Shane Oliver. I was like, where do you do with your eggs? He's like, I sell mine. I'm like, you sell yours, you know, like. And then I was all asked my Uncle John. He's like, I sell mine. I'm like, okay. And then I got this one guy sitting out there. He's Danelle Sargent's brother. He's like, yeah, I'm fishing. I was like, you know, like, did we get in a fight before? I was like, where did you throw that cartridge fish since you're trying to scare me? He's like, I hung it in the tree. I go, what do you think's moving in the bushes, motherfucker? It's a bear or a mountain lion. He got all scared. I was like, don't hide behind me, go hide behind Josh. I was like, one guiding guns, and then we're all sitting there. We're like, no one will give us one, you know. Like, I was like, okay, then, you know, and then, oh yeah, freaking